Welcome back. Good to see you. Hey, so today I want to just offer you some things that might help you keep your motivation and energy up for working on the projects that you're doing. Plus, if you stick around long enough, we might actually have tacos too. You never know. Let's watch the show intro. You get a little idea of some of the stuff we're working on here, and then we will just get right into it. I'm Mike, and well, this is my truck, but really, this is my car shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Cars Shop.
It's a subject that probably is near and dear to me because I seem to be a very scattered and unfocused, undisciplined person. And I know for a lot of years I didn't do a whole lot of work in the shop for a number of reasons. One of them was my son was working on his 69 Charger, and I just felt it was better to just stay out of his way and let him have full reign in the shop rather than the two of us competing for tools and equipment and stuff like that. But the second reason was just life can be tough sometimes. And so I wasn't making a lot of progress, and it actually was due to the pandemic. Can we use that word without getting censored? I don't know. But it was due to that, the shutdown. And I just found a break from all of the stress of life and had the opportunity to get back out into the shop and started working on stuff. So I was motivated and interested, and I had been working a little bit on the Challenger at that point. But I really got back on the 47 Ford and wanted to get some of that paint work done while I had the time. So we got the front fenders painted, and we've been moving forward on getting the grill done, and I became more intentional at that point also about growing this channel. But it's been an ongoing struggle for me, and therefore I would believe that it is also an ongoing struggle for you. And I know I've talked about this to a point before, but in my mind I see things a little differently, and I like to readdress these topics again. But today I want to offer not so much what I do, although that's part of it, but what you can do, because I think that's what's most important. What can you do to try to keep that energy and focus and that constant moving forward on the projects? I do want to thank you for all of the awesome feedback. We've got great discussions going over on the Face Place. We have good discussions going here in our community tab now that we have that opened up, and we're trying to post something every day there. I do get good feedback even over on the Instant Grandmother place that we go to, if you know what that is. So it's been good, and just to have the interaction, and there's so many of you that are just diehards who watch everything and comment and give great feedback on the channel, and I appreciate it. And I say all of that to say, and I said this in a recent video also, community and relationship are a key element in keeping going. I know there are many channels who have other people they work with, either directly or indirectly, where there's multiple people. You look at Battery Productions and Iron Horse Garage, and well, even Duddy to some degree has the Dodge Whisperer in the background. So community is important. I'm pretty much a lone wolf. I don't have a lot of community on a regular basis. I have people who will come. Recently, Chris came. I think you saw a video with him and I working on the Oakland. My dad does come on a regular basis to work on the Oakland. And Mark and Dave and Brad and so forth. But on a consistent episode by episode basis, I spend 80% of my time in the shop alone, and therefore I don't have that person there with me that first of all makes me feel guilty because I'm not doing something, or who gives me the kick in the hind end that I need to get going on the project. So I have to find that in other ways. And I think to a degree that's true for a lot of viewers here on the channel, is they tend to be on their own doing a lot of things. My wife is very motivational to me as well, to keep me moving forward on things, and she's great for giving perspective, but she works a full-time job. She's not there all the time, so, that's just the reality of life. Did I mention there probably will be tacos in this episode? I should have mentioned that. Sorry, I forgot. Other ways that I really try to find motivation, looking at the projects themselves sometimes just doesn't cut it. So actually one good motivator, besides talking to friends and having text conversations and chat conversations and being involved in groups, is YouTube. I'm in kind of a lull with YouTube right now, meaning most of the channels that I watch, I've watched everything. I have a couple of channels that I'm archiving for binges, meaning I'm not watching everything they're putting out right now, but I'm going to binge for 3 or 4 hours and watch stuff because I want to see. They're channels that are more similar to mine, where it's a lot of details, and I want to see 2 or 3 episodes and watch the progress through certain things. But YouTube can be a great motivator. I know I found that to be very true in the pandemic, the shutdown, when I was trying to work in the shop and I was just between things, and I discovered some channels that I really liked, as you've heard me mention, like Iron Trap and Vice Grip, and at that time a channel called Turn and Rust. The channel still exists, but there was a divorce in the people involved, and the main characters are now over on a channel called Restored. I love what those guys do. Those channels gave me ideas. Now, there are a lot of other channels that I've since come in contact with, you've heard me mention here, so I'm not going to repeat all of that. But finding channels on YouTube that are, first of all, people that you can connect with, and as far as just you feel connected to what they're doing, you can relate to them, and also then projects that they're doing that you can relate to, that you get excited about. That's important. So, over at Iron Trap, Matt and Mike and Kate and Loon are all into early hot rod stuff. Not rat rod, but more along that line, but they're into traditional hot rods. So I'm very into traditional hot rods. I worked in a hot rod shop, and we built early traditional hot rods. So it's something that, flathead powered stuff with multiple carburetors and, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something that's very much near and dear to my heart. And if I wasn't doing mostly Mopar stuff, I probably would be doing early hot rods, which is why I have the 47 Ford, because I like that genre. Now, the 47 Ford is more of probably a 1980s version, which is going to lead me to my next point in how to stay motivated and get interested. I was a good friend of mine subscribed me to CarCraft magazine when I was in high school, and so much of my influences are from the 80s because of reading those magazines. Gained interest. Back in the day, if I was to talk to my 16-year-old self today and tell me what I'm doing right now, I wouldn't believe me. That I would have a nitrous-powered Pro Street car, that I would have a fat fender street rod, that I would be restoring multiple muscle cars, and I would have all the cars that I have. I wouldn't have believed me, because even though in those days I was mechanical, I was working on things like bicycles and lawnmowers and go-karts, and cars were so far beyond my realm of perception and ability. But point is, and I do get there eventually, magazines, reading magazines. Put a stack of magazines next to your little library throne, where you hopefully visit on a regular basis, and just go back and remind yourself. If you're into 4x4s, put a stack of 4-wheel drive magazines there. If you're into hot rods, put a stack of hot rod magazines there. Whatever you're into, whenever you sit down to take care of business, thumb through those magazines. I also just enjoy thumbing through things like Jegs and Summit catalogs, or Max or Bob Drake catalogs, depending on what I'm thinking about right now. Those things are motivating. Look at what's available, but don't get overwhelmed by the cost. Remember, the point of our channel is how to do things on the cheap and how to do things on the inexpensive. You don't have to spend a ton of money. And this kind of goes back to my first point, but I'll say it again. Find people that you can connect with both physically and digitally who are embodying a mindset that lines up with what you want to be doing. So if you don't have a lot of money, find channels that show you the alternative ways to do things. If you don't feel like you have a huge amount of skill, find channels that help you develop the skills that you want to develop. If you don't feel like you have a lot of money, maybe you need to find channels that help you learn how to earn money off of the hobby, because they're out there. There are ways you can earn money off of your hobby to fund your hobby. There's a million, bazillion, gazillion, quadrillion sources of information online. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. You have to eat the fish, throw away the bones, but find the stuff that satisfies and meets what you want to do, and learn the options and the ideas. I mentioned this before, but somebody recently wrote on the when I was just stripping down the deck lid, and I was talking about, yes, I could go out and buy one of these, but I want to save the money and not do that and salvage a part that would end up on the scrap pile. And even though I knew this, a comment that was very foundational shifting for me in my approach to the channel was, that's true about a Challenger, but it's not true of all the cars that we may be working on. For a lot of us, we can't buy the parts, and we need to know how to fix what we have. That's what our channel's all about, right? Whether I'm working on a popular car like the 70 Challenger, or a car like the 26 Oakland that we may not be able to get stuff we need, it's sharing how to do things without spending a lot of money, and without making do with what you have and learning how to make it work. So let's do this. Let's start a great discussion over on the community tab, as well as in the comments here, about how you stay motivated and keep yourself going to keep working on these projects. Let's all learn from each other, because you guys are going to have way better ideas than I do about all of this. So let's hear from you on that. So our next little project here is going to be a repeat of something I've done, but it's time for tacos. So I'm back in Bay City, Michigan, and just a couple of miles away from a place that I've been to before called Zaka Tacos. And we're going to get some tacos and some lunch, because unlike some places in the country who have taco trucks almost as often as there are Starbucks in New York City, where I live, it's slim pickings. So we're going to get some tacos and see what we get today. Well, that was epic fail. Who would have thought that they would be closed on Monday? I knew that, but I forgot. I'm so disappointed. My entire trip today, I was looking forward to getting some tacos. I think I'm gonna go shed a tear in my beer. Well, you know what they say. If at first you don't succeed, try again. So, we're gonna do something I've never done on the channel before, and I don't know if any of our partner channels have done this either. We're going to do Plan B. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We're back. So when you're in Michigan and you can't get tacos, then you do the next best thing and you make tacos. So I was already in the kitchen getting dinner around and ready, and other things are going here, so there's a lot of activity, and I do the bulk of the cooking here. But I decided to pick up some steak, and we're gonna knock out what I think are some authentic street tacos and share those with you, since we couldn't get any at Zaka Taco. So I've just got some kind of shaved ribeye steak that I found on clearance, and I'm just basically shaving it up in smaller pieces. getting ready to throw it in the pan and fry it up the way I like it. It's one more maybe. I just always look for decent cuts of meat that are on sale. This was on clearance, so it was getting to the end of its life. So it's a perfect piece of meat for what I like to do. Okay, that'll make me a couple tacos for lunch. That'll be good. Just throw this in a pan here. While that's heating up, I'll go and knock up a sweet onion because I like sweet onions. I have a little bit of an onion allergy to stronger onions, so I prefer to use sweets. But once this heats up a little bit, we'll get this in the pan, we'll put our spices in there, and our tacos will almost be done. I like to put the onions in big chunks. It's pretty good for a street taco. Pan is pretty good and warm now, so we'll get our meat in here. Very good. Okay, it's cooking up nicely. I'm going to get my taco seasoning out. I make my own taco seasoning. It's just a mixture of cayenne pepper and chili powder and cumin and oregano and a bunch of other stuff, salt and pepper. Put some of that in there. Give some flavor to the meat. I put it in when it's partially cooked. Just try to gauge by the color how much spice I want. Looks pretty good. The other thing I'm going to make up is just heat up some refried beans. I make refried beans myself. Keep them in the freezer and then pull them out when I want to have refried beans. So I put these in some hot water in the sink to kind of thaw them a little bit. I'll clean that up later. So we'll get those heating up. I need to add a little bit of water to that pan. And because they're a little bit on the thick side, they need to be a bit thinner for the way that I like them. I wish you could smell this. It's, ouch. Bumped the pan handle apparently. It's scrummy. Wow, the butter was hot. So now that that's done, I turn it off and I throw the onions in. I'm not intending to cook the onions at all. Just let them warm a little bit. I don't know what I hit. Something must have splashed up because that's not... Oh, this handle was on the burner over there and I burnt my hand on that. You can see that. Oh well, no biggie. It's not that bad. Anyway, scrub them around a little bit, take them off the heat, and just let them set. While the beans are doing their thing. So we will throw a lid on that, give it a few minutes for those beans to finish up, and we'll make our tacos because we're pretty much done. The other thing I will do is take my tacos, the tortillas, and just throw them kind of on there, just to soften them up a little bit. Sometimes I'll put them in foil in the oven, but kind of let them warm up. Burner's cooled down enough now. Yeah, it wasn't the handle at all. It was this this thing right here was sitting against that burner and I didn't see it when I grabbed it. It got me, so no biggie. Beans are getting close. Got a little more heating to do. I like that consistency like that. That's maybe a bit thin. I can cook it down a little if I want. But I'm not eating them on the taco. I'm just going to eat them in a bowl and just juice them up a little bit. Okay, cook them down a little bit. I like the consistency, so we'll just take and put them in a bowl. Doctor them up just a little bit and enjoy them. Put a little of this quesadilla cheese on there. Very good. And then the last thing I like to do is just put a little dollop of sour cream on the top of there, just because I can. And there's one more thing we will add when we sit down to eat, but we're ready to make our tacos now. Whew. All right, good. Got my Eastwood catalog. You're sitting at the table with me. I've got my Hot Mess, which is my band's brand of hot sauce. I've got these amazingly scrummy tacos. Just got to put a little lime juice. I don't have any fresh limes, so we'll do it the old-fashioned way. A little of that, a little bit of cilantro, because you got to have cilantro. There we go. And I'm going to eat that one straight up, but I'm going to add some of my hot sauce to my beans. Scrummy, scrummy. That's going to do it for this episode. If you've enjoyed this, let me know. I just felt like doing something different today, something fun. I wanted to do some technical information, talk to you about staying motivated, ways you can. I want to hear from you on that. And I just felt I wanted to do tacos today, and since Zaca's wasn't open, then, well, this is what we get. So,
Bon appetit!
or however you would say that in Spanish. I don't know. Ribeye steak, sweet onions, my special blend of taco spices. This needs a little heat. Cheers. Oh, one more thing. Rock.